All right. This is an interesting article from CBR, comicbookresources.com. AEW's Vince McMahon shade isn't thinly veiled, it's a full-throated attack. Oh boy. All right, so we're going to run through this article. Probably not going to read the whole thing because they do go into the billionaire Ted stuff. And while that's interesting, I just want to keep this video short. So, since joining All Elite Wrestling, the Exalted One, Brodie Lee, formerly WWE's Luke Harper, has shown a number of interesting character quirks and promo lines that have fans thinking he's less scary cult leader and more caricature of Brodie Lee's former boss, Vincent Kennedy McMahon. Okay, we're going to pause right here. The Dark Order has been going on since the start of Dynamite. For them to go from... Look, anytime you say somebody is a caricature or a parody, you're essentially talking comedic effect. And you really shouldn't turn... Look, I know that the Dark Order is goofy and it's stupid. And it was called the Dork Order, the Dork Odor, and pretty much every iteration of this sucks. To take something that you put so much time and energy into, to turn that into something that is essentially now a joke, a running gag, is kind of stupid. It's a waste of time. You should also not want people thinking of your competition while your show is on. That's just basic. Like, that would be like going inside of a McDonald's and you got Burger King banners and stuff all over the place, or them consistently talking about, how Burger King and the Whopper and all that type of stuff. Like, you can do it in a commercial every once in a while, but it's continuous, as we'll see when we go along. On the March 25th episode of All Elite Wrestling Dynamite, we saw a backstage vignette of Lee eating a steak dinner with two of the lesser members of the Dark Order, John Silver and Alex Reynolds. I did not know these guys had names. Lee is clad in a blue suit as he attacks his steak, disseminating sage advice to the younger Silver and Reynolds as they sit uncomfortably in their chairs, staring at their dinner. As Silver reaches for his silverware to join his leader, Lee berates him, saying that the others don't eat until he is done, and kicks him out of the room. When this seems fitting for the leader of the Dark Order, it's the next set of events that have the wrestling fans buzzing. Lee then continues to impart his wisdom to Reynolds, until the young man unfortunately sneezes. Lee becomes incensed and kicks Reynolds out too. And I'm not going to read the commercial for AEW's Twitter. Okay, here's a couple of more things. The sage advice was not Vince McMahon-like advice. Vince McMahon is filled with the most bizarre quotes and the most, quite frankly, brutal and scary stuff that has ever been said. Jeff Merrick did, I listened to an interview. He used to cover wrestling in Canada. And he said he had a one-on-one conversation with Vince McMahon. And Vince McMahon had just been dissed by Hulk Hogan on TV. And he asked Vince McMahon about this. And Vince McMahon says, Vince took his glasses off. This had to be in like the 96, 97 or something like that. And Vince said, I'm a carnivore. And when I sit down to eat, I want the biggest, juiciest piece of meat I can find. And if it upsets my stomach later on, so be it. Like, that's Vince McMahon. You mildly getting irritated by a guy picking up his knife and fork that's not Vince McMahon. Being upset because a guy sneezed, anybody would be upset if you're eating and somebody sneezes. You put it in its appropriate context. And then you got all this coronavirus stuff going on too, so you also have that. So they could easily kind of smudge it a little bit, because guys eating and you sneezing and shit. Come on, man. But we already know this man, how he feels about sneezing. But let's continue. The blue suit, the penchant for red meat, and the hatred of sneezing are all obvious jabs at Vince McMahon. As many longtime wrestling fans can discern, McMahon is known to favor colored suits versus the traditional black suit when making appearances, has an affinity for steak and ketchup, and detests sneezing, as he sees one not being able to control their body as a weakness of personal character. This isn't the first time Lee's taken a shot at his former employer. In his introductory promo on the March 18th episode of Dynamite, Lee made the claim that Dark Order foe Christopher Daniels isn't the first out-of-touch old man not to believe in him. Obviously, Lee still got some thoughts on his time in WWE, where many thought he was underutilized for being such a talented performer. He'll have this chance to shine in AEW. Okay, fair enough. Again, the sage advice was not Vince McMahon-y enough. His response was not angry, cartoonishly enough. Like, Vince McMahon is a cartoonish character, even when he's trying to be serious. Even like if you ever just watch him in interviews, he's still Vince McMahon. He's still Mr. McMahon. Like he's a subdued version, but he's still Mr. McMahon. And Brodie Lee is no Mr. McMahon. This is gonna fail if he doesn't. If he either he's stopped doing the Vince McMahon stuff, which they could easily kind of smudge it and go to doing something else, or if they continue this up, he's gonna have to step his performance level up. Because I'm all for you parodying and being a caricature of Vince. I'm all for it, but you got to be good. And Brodie Lee it's not good right now. It's not good enough. It's only been 1 week, so give it some time. Lee's shot at WWE creative department is the only time AEW's wrestler made their point known either. During the early days of Dynamite, former AEW World Champion Chris Jericho made a definitive statement about a certain phrase one of his stablemates is known for. When fans chanted "We the People" at Jake Hager, formerly Jack Swagger in WWE, Jericho lambasted them saying, "Hey, calm down for 1 second. We the People sucked, and it's dead and buried. It was a stupid idea from bad creative, and that's all gone." Which is the only reason Jake Hager is actually has ever been known for anything, is due to We the People. So it makes no sense. And then he was doing it also in Bellator. So it was such bad creative that Jake Hager took it to mixed martial arts, and now his gimmick is the Big Hurts. The Big Hurts. Big Hurts. Okay. Despite, he's a collegiate wrestler and, All-American, which is the whole point of the We the People, right? All-American. But that's stupid, bad creative. The Big Hurts is good creative. That's the good stuff, which is, what does that mean? I don't know. Who cares? He's dry toast at this point, so it doesn't matter. Current AEW champion Jon Moxley has also taken some shots at his former employer. Upon winning the AEW World Championship at AEW Revolution, Moxley took to the ring and said his goal was to bring pro wrestling back. Pro wrestling that you grew up on, Moxley said. Not crap, not sports entertainment, not scripted canned horse crap. Pro wrestling. Other than AEW, wrestlers often mention the creative freedom they have in their new company, but their triumvirate of former WWE talent, there's four more than a triumvirate, by the way, are the only ones make outward declarations like these with good reason. Let's talk about this whole pro wrestling thing. What is pro wrestling? Is pro wrestling Chris Jericho cutting a promo on a drone? Is that pro wrestling? I don't remember Big Cat Larry Ladd ever doing that. I don't think I've ever seen Andre the Giant cut a promo on an inanimate object. I don't remember guys teleporting being pro wrestling. I don't remember that at all. Before WWE introduced these sort of cartoonish elements, I don't remember anybody ever doing the supernatural sort of stuff. And usually that's the stuff that people make fun of, right? That Undertaker can throw lightning and Kane can summon fire, and now the Fiend can disappear and reappear, and he has his own fun house. And these things are cartoonish and stupid and blah, blah, blah. And yet, AEW does the same stuff, and it's supposed to be pro wrestling. Look, I get it, man. You have to. AEW's brand right now they have no brand. It's just not WWE, and they just toss usually every week or so, they toss a sliver of meat to all of the anti-WWE guys on Twitter and Facebook, and people get really excited. Like, they got really excited about this Brodie Lee thing, which is why I'm covering it. And it's like Brodie Lee doing a parody of Vince McMahon overshadowed pretty much everything except Matt Hardy and Chris Jericho's segment, as far as things people were talking about when they left AEW, which means at least a quarter to 30% of what you were talking about is related to Vince McMahon. This is why you have to say you can't have people thinking of your competition when you're watching your show. I mean, what the fuck was Darby Allin doing? They're telling me, Darby Allin is like Sting. It's like, yeah, but if they wouldn't waste their time talking about anyone else if Sting was in the ring. You know, like we should want you walking away thinking that Darby Allin is the next guy, not that Brodie Lee is making fun of Vince McMahon. You know, Vince McMahon this, Vince McMahon that. You know, that probably is not the smartest thing in the world. You know, and then also a lot of people are also talking about Vince because they said if the teleporting Matt Hardy was with the kind of shit he wanted to do in WWE, they're glad that he didn't get that creative freedom. Again, I'm at the position now where I'm like, look, let's give everything a break. These guys have only been in the company less than a month. They've been in the company 2 weeks. Let's relax. But I'm tired of people saying this whole pro wrestling thing, and they're not really presenting pro wrestling. You know, it's part pro wrestling, obviously, because all pro wrestling is part pro wrestling. But this idea that there is no sports entertainment is a lie. You know, like, just do what you're doing, you know? Don't tell me it's going to be a sports-based presentation and then there's no sport in it. Don't tell me that you're going to do pro wrestling, traditional pro wrestling that goes to remind people of Memphis and Mid-South and all that type of stuff, and you're still doing, you know, inanimate objects and drones and all this other weird shit that they're doing in AEW. Just don't tell me that. Just be a wrestling promotion. You know, every wrestling promotion since WWE started doing everything, started having, you know, the Impact has like the undead, well, not Ring of Honor. Even though they do have PCO, who is supposed to be not real, and he had an electric chair that to gas him up and all that type of stuff. So yeah, pretty much every wrestling promotion out there now does these silly, over-the-top gimmicks. As long as it's not like the Invisible Man, I'm okay with it. As long as it's done within context, certain contexts, I'm okay with it, I guess. Or if I can ignore it, I'm okay with it. But you have PCO, you had Abyss. You have the Undead Realm and Impact right now. You do have all of these supernatural characters and with superpowers and, you know, all this type of stuff. You have this stuff now. And that's all sports entertainment. It's not, so this idea that it's traditional pro wrestling, it's not. Buddy Rogers wouldn't have been a part of that shit. Lou Thesz wouldn't have done that shit. Vern Gagne wouldn't have done that shit. Greg Gagne probably wouldn't have done it either. You know, the Von Erichs wouldn't have done nothing like this. You know, and it just is what it is. Just accept what it is and move on. But the last thing I want to say is I'm really deathly afraid for AEW that they're going to end up going the way of Impact, where there's just going to be guys coming in, cutting their, oh, I hate WWE, or the creative, they didn't know what to do with me, I'm a superstar, they should have known. And then 2 weeks later, the guy's doing nothing. He's still either cutting that same promo still, or, you know, 6 months later, the guy's basically nowhere doing nothing in this company. And we've seen this 2 or 3 times already with AEW, as far as Shawn Spears being a guy that was supposed to be, you know, the top guy. He's going to be a top guy in AEW, and he's not. You know, he had one feud with Cody, and that died, and now he's pretty much doing nothing. You know, like we keep seeing this type of stuff, and it doesn't really work. It just injects a temporary sense of it's like throwing a piece of bologna to the rabid hatred of WWE fans. You know, people who are anti WWE. It's like, okay, you can pitch the ball, you can pitch bologna to them all day. Ultimately, you have to deliver, and show don't tell. Don't tell me that this is going to be different from WWE. Show me how it's going to be different, you know? And they still have a lot of time to do that. Shawn Spears cannot. He's a failed project. But other guys can. You know, Matt Hardy still has some opportunity. Brodie Lee has opportunity. Cody proved it. Cody proved that he should have, that they should have done more with him or given him more of an opportunity. You know, Darby Allin is another one. I think he was signed to Evolve, which is very, very closely connected to NXT, and they never did anything with him. And now he's showing that he could have done more if they'd have let him. You know, other people, Jon Moxley is trying, you know, and I guess, but, you know, people like Jon Moxley before he came to WWE, and they liked him while he was there, and then they like him now, and now they just swear nothing else matters except, you know, what he's doing now. You know, same thing with, you know, Dustin and all this type of stuff. Just show don't tell, and stop letting your performers go out there and make a name for themselves off of their WWE past, and then they can't move forward. The AEW needs to be a place where people can move forward and not keep going through the past. And that's pretty much my thoughts on this. So what do you guys think? Let me know in the comment section, and I'll talk to you later.